Sink down and emotions feel like I never did before. Life shows him spoken reels of the movie I ignored. Blue skies on a broken sea and I'm stuck up on the shore. I never thought you could see me, but you did. All I know is we're here, that they took us somewhere. So what they say we're called falling out of line. They don't know the two of us are colorblind, yeah. All I know is we're here, that they took us somewhere. So what they say we're called falling out of line. They don't know the two of us are colorblind. All I know is we're here, that they took us somewhere. So what they say we're called falling out of line. They don't know the two of us are colorblind, yeah. So easy. We could be the enemy and show them how it's done. Yeah, we could brand a new identity and tear apart the songs, make it grayscale with a black and white scale. Singing saints that the sinners believe and burn all that's in it. We'll take them out. We'll make them up for it and shout. Dream out the guns, I'll take the wheel. How we feel, we were made for this. We be mountains still and make it real, make it dangerous. Been colorblind for all my life, and they kept painting rainbows. I'm colorblind, it's black and white. It seems it will remain. And you've been colorblind for all your life, too scared to even say so. We're colorblind, it's black and white. It seems it will remain so. So what they say we're called is falling out of line. They don't know the two of us are colorblind, yeah. All I know is we're here, that they took us somewhere. So what they say we're called is falling out of line. They don't know the two of us are colorblind. All I know is we're here, that they took us somewhere. So what they say we're called is falling out of line. They don't know the two of us blind.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
I accidentally switched to the wrong scene and I was like, fuck.
Yes.
I'm gonna pull it up so I can see the chat.
Oh god, we're gonna have this sound.
We're starting with a hype
times.
train. Do we have our dance party because of the music?
You guys have music?
Well,
Well, no,
I
this
can't
was
hear
a
it.
whole
I can't hear it.
production
Only
going
Trevor
on.
can hear it.
Yeah.
And chat.
Yeah.
We had a
The,
whole segment last time of just like us dancing, and they were dancing to like nothing because they couldn't hear it.
First of all, cool guy. Thank you so much for gifting a sub to Trev. Trev, you have the emotes that you did.
Yes.
And the sub badges that you did.
On this account
and-
that will never touch this channel. Well,
Yeah, yeah.
unless I edit it on something, then.
Why is it not showing up for me?
Hello, Ash, Ray. Who else is here? Leon. Leon, I'm assuming that's one of Pearl's people there.
Yeah, I have some cuties.
There we go. There we go.
They said, and I quote earlier, big Pearl fan, but they misspelled Pearl.
Was it
Beast, it's good to see
okay?
you.
So there's a bunch of different ways people spell Pearl.
That was P-E-R-L.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Okay, so I
Okay.
have it like that in my Discord. I also spell it P-U-R-L and P-O-R-L.
Wait, so there's a bunch of
I
different
can't-
canon ways.
What's
of
yeah, but what's
spelling it.
what
Like,
is
they're all-
canon though?
they're all-
Yeah, but what's the
Canon?
right
Okay.
way?
What is
Oh,
the
God.
original?
They're technically all canon from my gaming years. But I would say the
Oh.
canon is right now is P-E-R-L. Like everyone,
Wait.
that's what the train everyone hopped on, and that's the one that choo-chooed.
Oh.
So.
So can we trace the PukaPearl at like journey
Oh,
through
God.
through the etymology
Oh,
of your
here it is.
name?
There it
Oh
is.
wait,
Whoa,
okay,
one
dance
second,
party,
hold on, we're
dance
gonna
party.
have to-
Wait, I don't...
Trev, you might want to mute that alert.
I don't know how to.
All right, cool guy. You assuredly can't hear me right now, but thank you so much for gifting 10 subs.
I mean,
We
I could
really
hide it,
appreciate
but
that.
I can't mute it. I don't think.
There's got to be a property for that.
There should actually. If not, we'll just add Discord again and have them
It's,
say
it's,
Yeah,
it's just
and
a
have
dance
it be
party. It's
played
just a
in
dance
another-
party.
that don't work.
I think that blends
Yeah.
in with the whatchamacallit, the desktop audio. Oh, there's another one.
You.
Ash with the pro strats.
That is a pro strat.
Oh my God, big brain with the
I'm
big
gonna,
brain.
I'm gonna
pro
remove
strat.
you if you keep doing this.
Oh god, etymology for my name.
Yes, I'm so fascinated by this actually.
Oh god. The first account I ever had on this website was called Enchanted Pearl. Now this is back in the day where you were not allowed to change your name.
Mhm.
So I made
I remember that,
the
yeah.
account. Yeah, so I made the account that is now known as PukaPearl in like 2015 or something, a few years later, because I wanted to change the name. It was actually Fleur de Pearl because I was only playing League really at that time, and my name in League is Fleur de Lis. So I was like Fleur de Pearl or whatever. And
That
so what happened-
explains your emote handle.
Yup,
Okay,
yup, no one ever
okay.
understands. Yep. And I will explain why I haven't changed it. So let me get to that. But I changed it to PukaPearl because I was just kind of over it. No one could pronounce Fleur. I don't know how. People can't pronounce Puka either, so that was also an issue.
Have people
Fleur.
ever called it Puka?
Oh, all the time, like 90% of the time. I was like,
I
has
feel like-
no one heard of a Puka show?
I feel like I know Fleur because of Harry Potter now. Fleur de la
Yeah,
Cour.
Flora de Lis or whatever.
Or PukaPearl. I mean, I meme it now. It's like I don't get upset about it per se, but it's just hilarious to me because I'm like, I feel like this is such an easy word to say versus French, but maybe I should have kept it. Because the reason I changed it was literally because people couldn't say it. So I was like, oh, I'll make it easier for them. Just kidding, I'm trolling. So anyway, I changed it to PukaPearl, and it's been like that since 2015, I want to say. And what happened was, so when I got affiliated, they were like, well, when you made this account, this was your name when you made it, so this is the prefix that is associated, and when you're not partnered, you can't really change your prefix for emotes. They had that rule until, I want to say about a year ago, maybe half a year ago. It was very recent when they introduced the prefix changes for anyone that was like not partnered, basically, so all affiliates. And what they ended up doing was they assigned me PukaPearl. I can't change that. And I was like, so it's either Fleur de
or Puka P.
And I did like a poll, like PukaPearl. I was like,
You
That
went
is
you went
so
very
irritating.
democracy like with it. You like made a poll and
Yeah.
everything.
I was like gauging. I wasn't really gonna change it to that, and I was like, this sounds like a little weird, right? Because people call me Puka, right? So if you're gonna associate that word with me, and then you're gonna put the word P after it, it's a little like, or it's just a little weird. I'm just okay. Anyway, so I was, it was just PE, and I was just like, I'll just keep it Fleur de.
Fleur.
So-
That makes sense. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So then, how did the spelling of the Pearl side change?
Okay,
or why
so
did it change?
I have a friend that I have known for about 7 to 8 years, and from WoW, and he's notorious in my community. He goes by Fee, and he's just a little crazy. We have named him my crazy cat in my Discord, and basically he always is yelling my name like in caps, and sometimes he'll spell it Pearl, Pearl, Pearl,
Wait,
Pearl, Pearl.
so
Pearl.
you're telling me that the role in Crazy Cat is not an actual cat? It's a person?
No, unfortunately, we're not sure, but I'm pretty sure it's not. So no, he always yells, like he'll just like randomly come into the Discord and start yelling at me about anything. He'll be like, I want a donut or I want an egg. And to my community, he is like just known as my crazy cat because he loves cats and he loves eggs. And that's kind of his defining characteristics besides yelling at me.
What a
and
weird
all
two
caps.
things to like.
I know.
It's just feed.
Just
And
one egg. If you find your thing, you find your thing.
he
You know?
likes all the eggs. Hi guys, I see you guys. They're so cute. But no, Fee will just yell at me. I've known him since 2012, I want to say. Really long time, like gaming friend. I've actually met him in real life. He's very chill. But it's really funny with his like online persona because it's definitely a persona. It's like Dr. Disrespects except way funnier. So
Yeah.
I don't know. We enjoy Fee. But he always yells Pearl with P-E-R-L. It used to be P-U-R-L back in 2020. 2020. 2012.
Pearl like girl.
Yeah.
I'd like to say back in 2020 though, like how just
Back in
have this year
2020,
completely
like-
over.
I am over this year though. If we move to 2021, I won't be upset.
Yeah.
Me too.
I think
Yeah.
Me too.
next
As long as
year,
we leave behind all the garbage
Look,
from 2020.
I'm just saying we should restart, and next year it'd be 2020 redo because like this year was already wasted.
This year does not count at all.
Yeah,
It does
give it
not
another
count
go.
Anyway.
I don't know her.
Have we tried
2020.
taking 2020 out of the system and blowing into the cartridge and then putting it back in?
Yeah, have we
Yeah.
have we
Did
tried
anybody
turning it
quick
on and
save
off?
before 2020? Because
I
I would
kind
like to load that quick save.
I would honestly just like to return the whole thing. Just return the whole thing.
I want to get my time back.
I just return the
Like,
whole
listen, I'll just
product.
go with the 2021 copy, okay?
Yeah.
Well,
Just let me get the newest one.
So,
you need to blow harder.
Pearl, when you were telling the story about the origin of your emote prefix,
Yes.
you mentioned that back in the day you used to mostly play League of Legends.
Yes.
And I know you do stream League of Legends from time to time. I'm curious, I guess, about your history with League of Legends and sort of other competitive esports related games, and
Yeah.
also how that transitioned into what you play and stream these days.
It's actually so funny because I just answered this question the other day. So I used to play more competitive games, in the sense of like not single player games, I guess.
Sure.
And basically what happened was I realized it's much harder to kind of cultivate a community just playing competitive, especially if you're actually going very hard like on stream. If you're really focusing, it's really, really tough to be looking at chat, engaging with everyone in chat, and also playing those games. And this was also back when I didn't have nearly as many viewers as I do now, I guess. But it was hard then. I bet right now it would be just as difficult, if not more. I'm assuming more. And basically my content has actually slid from more competitive games to more single player, like chill, like casual games. Maybe I would say casual. Other people would like, I say casual. It depends on what your definition of casual is though. Because I definitely do try hard in most things that I do, because that's just how I am. But I do play most things on normal, just for like the experience of it. And yeah, I used to play like League. I used to play Overwatch. The competitive games I play now, like I don't Dead by Daylight, I don't know how competitive you would consider that. I play that a lot. It's really, I guess, kind of like what I'm feeling at the time too, because like I used to play a lot of WoW, as I mentioned, and I also played a lot of FF14 with like rating tiers and stuff like that. So it really just depends on what I guess is considered competitive too, because I don't even know if I was considered competitive in FF14, but we did do raid tiers that were just released and stuff. So it was pretty difficult. Like you have to learn on the fly. So
Sure, yeah.
yeah.
So it sounds like the gaming shift was at least partially motivated by a sort of like utilitarian thing for your stream.
It was very hard. Yeah.
in making that like change to more single player competitive game or single player casual games, as you yourself said, and playing on normal and such sort of things, like has there been, because obviously you used to really enjoy competitive games, has there been a surprise game that since making that switch has become like a favorite for you that you wouldn't have maybe back in the day thought you would enjoy, but now you absolutely really love playing it on stream?
There's been nothing. I feel that I would have been playing these games all along. It's just what I'm playing on stream versus what I'm playing off stream, kind of thing. So I play a lot of games off stream that I actually don't stream because I've found that content my community just doesn't always like latch on to or enjoy as much. So I don't always stream them. I got a question from Pizza saying, "Why Pearl a fuck?" Thanks, Pizza. No, but I guess it's just kind of so if I was streaming competitive games, that means I'd probably be playing most of the games that I play on stream offline. If that makes any sense. So I would actually probably be playing all the same stuff. It's just what am I deciding to stream?
Oh,
So,
okay, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like because most of these games I really love, I really enjoy. I think there's only been one game in the last 2 years that I've been streaming that I've absolutely hated with all my heart. My entire community will now spam it probably in your chat because they all know which game this is. Absolutely fucking hate with every single ounce of my body.
Chain of memory.
Absolutely
Memory?
Oh
the
god.
worst game I've ever touched in my entire life. I'm never going back.
Did you ever
Never.
play? Because
Malding.
it's funny. It's funny that you say that because I played like Game Boy Chain of Memories and it was
Yeah.
fine, right? Like
Yeah.
it's
It's not fine on PC or
it's
PS4.
it's card based, you know. It's like, oh, like this is okay. Like you're just going like it's a more or less a side scroller almost. And I was like, this is pretty fun. And then when I tried it out on what was it, on 1.5 on the 1.5 part of Kingdom Hearts,
Yes.
like I tried it and I was like, this is
The worst.
awful.
It's the worst. It's the absolute worst thing you'll ever do in your entire life. Like that was the absolute worst thing I've ever played. I was like,
Like
can
how
I
the hell
actually
is it-
stopped streaming it. I was like, I hate this.
Because like
Did you power through it, or did you like just
Yeah,
abandon it?
I put on my big girl pants and I finally powered through it, but I complained the whole time and my chat will tell you I did. I was very upset. I still am. I'm still upset. A little upset about it.
Is that like a I guess like a goal that you just have for yourself? Is that if you start it on stream, you will absolutely finish it, no matter how much you hate it, or is it kind of just? Or did you attack it like it was like a challenge that you just needed to like get,
Depends how
achieve?
stupid I think it is.
Okay.
If I'm like, this is freaking stupid, I'll just stop. But if it's one where I'm like, just do it, forehead, then I will. But it really depends like how look, I'll just say this. I saw the joy in my viewers' hearts and chat from watching me mauled at that game. And I actually just gauged it. I was like, you know what? They love watching me be this angry. It's okay, whatever. So they had fun watching me mauled. I was so upset the whole time. There were some things like I wouldn't sacrifice. Like people love seeing me scared too, like in The Last of Us. But I'm not gonna play The Last of Us 2 because I decided after playing The Last of Us, I had to take like my anxiety medication every day before stream when I streamed that. It was like too much for me. So for something like that, for example, I won't sacrifice like how I guess I'm feeling. I guess if that I don't know how to describe that, but I won't sacrifice like.
Well, there's a limit to your own like emotional like wellness that you can only
Yeah,
do.
so that-
You have like
that
morals. I'm just like, I'm not doing.
Yeah, like with Chain of Memories too, we were playing through the entire Kingdom Hearts franchise. So I was kind of like, I feel like if I skip this one and I play the rest, I'm like cheating myself at this point. So I just finished it because I'd already been halfway through it. It was a short game to be fair, but I
Wait,
was
so
still
you
mauled.
played through all of them?
Pretty much except for like the mobile game, which is like X-Cross or something. Like I don't remember. I
played a
through-
little bit of that one. It was
Now-
fun, but
Did it make sense to you
Eh.
while you played
Yeah,
through it?
3 is a train wreck. Did not understand a bit of that.
Okay, because Rory
funny 'cause, like-
actually watched someone play through all of them and had no idea what was going on the entire time.
Well, I've never touched the games. I've only seen them played.
Yeah.
And I'll admit to being at a complete loss for knowing what the plot was actually about.
one time he was asked to do fake lore on it, and he was like, okay.
Yes,
And so like,
that was great.
what did you say? It was something like all the Disney characters stole all of the colors and the nice like like vibrant, colorful kind of clothing, and that's why those organization guys can only
We're
wear
all
black
black.
robes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I came up with a rather coherent version of the story, I suppose.
And what's funny is, like,
That's
the more
actually funny.
I can't remember some of the other things that he said, but the more and more he went on, and I was like, okay, so I know, like, you're just like, and I'm not saying you're shitting on it, but I was like, I know you're shitting on Kingdom Hearts right now because it's supposed to be fake lore, but like, you're kind of right. Like, most of the stuff that he said was pretty accurate.
yeah. Like he got most of it. Pretty, I was like, oh,
I was like, that's pretty good.
Oh, by the way, Trinsic, I hugely appreciate that. Thank you. And Cool Guy, thank you so much for gifting a sub to Muerto. Muerto, you got the emotes and the sub badges and the ad for reviewing and all the great stuff. A question for guest. Ice asks, is that an Orbi satellite in the background? I don't even know what that is. But what is an Orbi satellite, and is that one in the background?
I do not know.
What is
judging
What
by
is
her
that
reaction,
like?
Sounds like a no to me,
I'm
Ice.
guessing no.
Under
Under the
lights?
lights.
I'm Googling
I
it.
say humidifier.
Is that what that is? Oh wait, it's a Wi-Fi thing. Is it a Wi-Fi thing?
is it? I thought you just said you were googling
Like-
it.
A booster. It's a.
Oh, it's a
to
Wi-Fi. I guess that probably look. Let me see
and
what one looks like.
extend
So I'm
Wi-Fi coverage.
We're gonna. You know what? Okay, I've looked at it now, and I can safely say that it kind of does look like one. So I can see. I got Ice's back here. I can see where he's coming from. The.
No, it's okay. I know it's just a humidifier because I have really dry skin. No, I was like, oh, that sounds like something that lands on Mars, like from NASA. I don't know.
That's what I thought. I thought it was just
I
a
thought it was
space
gonna be
thing.
like one of your collectibles or something, and then I was just like the thing under the lights. Like, what?
So that's actually what I like to say about Kingdom Hearts is that it's convoluted. So like I've always said like the like this is how I actually put the like the rest of the series compared to like Kingdom Hearts 3. I mean, it was still convoluted. The entire series is convoluted, but to the people who have played through all of them, it makes sense. But Kingdom Hearts 3 was just confusing. Like that's all.
Yeah,
It looked
completely
beautiful.
agree.
Although I don't know, like what would you say about this, Pearl? When I first played it, and I've only played through it once, which is weird for me because like I was the kind of person that like I would go back and play Kingdom Hearts 2 just because I felt like it, like because I loved that game. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And I was playing through Kingdom Hearts 3, and I was like, does this kind of seem like each world was just completely made by a different person at times?
Absolutely. Yes.
Like the way that like say like because I can remember first starting out the game, and even though I actually did for once enjoy like Mount Olympus, because like I like how Mount Olympus is, but it's so very similar in all the other games. It was fun to just run around in Mount Olympus.
yeah.
And I was like, this looked so beautiful, you know? And then we got to Frozen World, and I was like, what happened here?
Yeah. Okay. So many thoughts running through my mind.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay,
This is
so
like-
we need to get you started on Hercules. Apparently, this is where the content's at.
They had a strong start. Everything looks very nice, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's good. Kind of like one of those movies that's like you could like literally screenshot any of like the scenes, but it doesn't necessarily make it a good movie. That's kind of how I would describe Kingdom Hearts 3.
The way it looked, like everything, like the visuals were amazing, but the content was really lacking.
Yes, absolutely agree. And the end was very lackluster and also just very jarring at the same time. I haven't played the DLC yet. Still
I
have
I
also
was
to
have
do
just
some
gonna
that.
ask you,
DLC.
have you?
Which is weird for me also, because like when it came to Kingdom Hearts stuff, I was always on top of them. And then
Yeah.
after I played Kingdom Hearts 3, I was like, I'm gonna try to platinum this, and then I was like, I'm done. I got 60 hours in.
Yeah.
Like I'd beaten the game at like 30 hours, I think. I got to 60, and I was like, I'm just gonna sit this down. I'm gonna try something else.
For me, it was kind of the nostalgia thing because that was probably one of the few games I played when I had time in high school. So I had played Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 in high school. So when I kind of heard about Kingdom Hearts 3 coming back, I actually ended up being like, yo, I love that series when I was a kid, high school kid. Like, I love that. I kind of want to play this again. So we played through, and it was just not how I remembered it, and it was just kind of like when you go and revisit something that you just remember fondly, and then it just was not living up to what you remember. It like that was especially Kingdom Hearts 1. Kingdom Hearts 2 was just fun, and I remember it being fun, but I also was like, wow, like I think I read way too many like fan fictions and Reddit threads on this, because I have like so much more information in my brain about this than what is actually given to you on screen, if that makes any sense. So I was like, okay, I don't know. I just remember being like, wow, this is not what I remembered it to be. 3 was very disappointing though. I was very like, 3, why did you do this? But I still fondly remember 1 and 2.
I mean, I cosplayed
1 and 2.
I cosplayed as one of the characters. Like, you remember that, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, I remember when I saw you at PAX, I remember because you had the freaking Keyblade, and I was like, she has the
Keyblade is so good. Oh my god.
Yeah, I was like,
so well done.
I was like, okay, I see you, actual cosplayer that didn't order their costume.
Oh my
online.
god.
I was like, okay, all right.
Actually, going into that, I had a few questions about like what really got you into cosplay. Like, were there any cosplayers that you had like followed, or like?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah, kind of, because like you do so much with cosplay, and like you even have like a sub goal at times, like with with like the wheel for your wigs also.
Yeah,
like it's definitely like a big part of your channel also.
I'm trying to think what actually inspired that, and I don't think I remember. I think the first thing I ever cosplayed on stream was Elsa, and I don't know how that came about. We weren't even playing Kingdom Hearts 3. No idea. No, absolutely no idea. I have no idea. I'm trying to think. And then I remember playing Persona 5, and I think what happened was at the time I had blonde hair. So this was like a little bit more relevant. But people kept saying you look a lot like On, who's one of the characters. And I was like, stop it. But I wanted to surprise everyone and do like a surprise cosplay stream. So I think that's where it first started. I didn't realize how intricate cosplays could get and the community could get at times. Like, I really did not understand it when I first started doing the cosplays, because for me it was kind of more like, oh, just like a bit more intricate Halloween costumes. And no, that is not cosplay at all. And like, I was like, I mean, I guess if you wanted to just be that, it could be, but from the cosplayers that I now follow, or I like, know, and like just from meeting people like you at the different cons that I've been to, it like that's an entire thing on its own. I was like, I like met someone who was cosplaying Mercy one time, and I was like absolutely astounded at the wings that they had. I was like, how do you even make that? So I'm very low key cosplayer. Like, I do not make any of my props. I buy everything. Like, I don't have time. I wish I could make that stuff, but I don't think I could, even if I wanted to. Like, I don't even know where I would start to make like the Keyblade you have, for example. I don't even know where I would start for that. So I started doing it for just fun little things for stream, and it became way more common than I thought it would. And it just kind of grew from there. So yeah, I guess that's kind of how. I just read that.
Been waiting a long damn time for that, Trev, by the way.
I think a male like Mercy cosplay would actually be pretty awesome.
I'm not saying I couldn't do it. I have full confidence in myself.
Look, I'll just be saving the channel points, alright? I have a lot.
Just make it a nice channel point redemption.
All right, 1,000,000 points.
What's like one of the most memorable cosplays you think you've done for stream?
That's a good question.
And then I would add, which one has been your favorite?
God, you guys are killing me. Okay, hang on. I do have a list on my channel of which cosplays I've done on stream. I've surprised a few. I think one of my favorites was surprising people with the Princess Zelda cosplay from Breath of the Wild. People were pretty surprised with that one. I don't think I told anyone about that one.
I can remember that one too, because I can remember coming in your stream and being like, "Oh my god, it's awesome!"
That one was also a challenge because that was the first time I'd actually worked with a wig besides just putting a wig on my head, because I don't know if you guys have ever played Breath of the Wild, but this Zelda has a huge braid that goes across her head. So I had to figure out how to wear, like, I had to get like these extra pieces of hair from the website. Like, it was from Arta. I got an Arta wig for this one, and I had to braid it individually, and like I had to tie it in the back, like underneath the wig, and then put the headphones on and somehow not have like that braid fall, and also like just do the whole makeup, everything. Like it was like I felt like I was back in fucking theater. Sorry, I swear. I was just like, oh my god, like this is like. So that's when I actually started making the sub incentives, because I was like, I cannot do this daily, cannot do it. It was too much. I was like, what have I done? So then I started the sub goals, and I've had to, whenever we're hitting it and like to the point where I'm cosplaying daily, I up them, and which is good, but I also did this to myself kind of thing. And if they're that complicated, like the Zelda one, it can get very like uncomfortable very quick. It's been a learning process for sure.
I can remember because I have an on Takamaki wig, that I had bought, and it's at least one that's not like up in pigtails, which is amazing. It's just like it's a short wig with the clips, and I was so happy that I was just able to do that. But I wore it to like my first year at PAP, and I can remember my brother and I were trying to play the demo for Dauntless, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna put the headphones on, and I was like, how do I do this? And I think if I remember, I had them going like this. Yep. They were like, and I was like, yep, okay, good to know about that. So I think what I use now, like if I need to, I have a pair of earbuds for that day.
Yep.
I haven't done any cosplays on stream where I have to like have like because I can usually wear these, but if I ever do that one on stream, I'm just gonna get my earbuds. But I can remember it being so weird.
It's I think for on in particular, I put the clips behind. Like I would have this a bit more forward and the clips right behind it. Sometimes I would switch it, but I think if I put these too far back, it would actually like fall off. So I think I always put the clips right behind it. There's like all these little nuances that people don't realize, and I don't think a lot of people realize how tough it can be streaming in costume for hours on end. Because it's really like, it's as if, like I said, you're doing like you're in a play, except it's ad-libbed. Like you're just like, and you're not the character. Like you're just kind of playing a game, right? But it's so like I had a friend, and I'll never forget this, but they streamed for like 2 hours in a wig, and by the third hour they took it off. They're like, I am so uncomfortable. I don't know how you do this every day. And I was like, I appreciate that. Thank you. Because I don't think people realize how tough it can be sometimes.
Like finally, someone else understands.
Yeah. Have you ever had like a cosplay malfunction, like in a way, like whether it was
not in like any bad way. Like I've had the Zelda braid literally just fell off my head. I was like, my braid fell. Just fell in my lap. I was like, okay, all right. It's one of those days. So then you just fix it and you just keep going.
I think the worst thing. Oh, I'm so sorry, Mal. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, you mentioned like you said something about theater. Do you have a theater background?
No, my friends bullied me into doing theater with them. So I did some theater, I guess. It was never my thing. I always personally enjoyed watching it more. But I've been on stage quite a few times because I got bullied into auditioning, and I somehow would get a part. And
you
then
got bullied by the drama kids.
They were really great though. I'm still friends with them. But yes, they would bully me into it. They'd be like, Pearl, just freaking do it, man. I'm like, I don't have time. And then I somehow would make time.
Was this like musicals? Was it like plays, straight plays?
Both. I have to think back. It was a lot. I had 3 sports and band. So when they would make me do that, I'd lose my mind those like seasons. I'd be like, I can't.
Do you ever bring it up every now and then, just be like, hey, do you guys remember when you put me through theater, just to bully me?
At one point I was like, can I just do the makeup? Because I was fine doing the makeup in the like behind the scenes. it was just a lot having to make rehearsals when you have so many other things going on. So I was like, I think I did makeup for like 2 shows or something. And that was, I like that because like I used to do dance spec when I was like a kid, like much younger, for like 6 or 7 years. So I knew how to do like stage makeup. So I was like, can we just do that? And they were like, we'll allow it. And I was like, okay, thanks. Because I was losing my mind. I was like, I can't do it all. I can't. Yes, I was bullied into Glee Club, Philip. I can't sing though. I actually don't normally sing though. I was much more of just like the acting part. So I didn't do that many though. I only did 3 total, I think. I just didn't have time for that. I would miss so many rehearsals. They hated me. I was like, I have a varsity game. I don't know what you want from me. Like, I need to make playoffs.
You did this.
This wasn't my choice. I got bullied in them.
Yeah. They would get so mad at me, and I'd be like, "You knew this would happen. You knew I had to be at my thing." Okay.
By the way, Philip, when you mentioned Ryan Murphy, even though we're talking about Glee and I should have associated him with his work on Glee, I know him better for his work on American Horror Story, and I was super confused.
That is literally the opposite.
Story. Yeah, they wanted to do. I think he said literally he was like he wanted to do something different after working on Glee. I was like, wow,
that is
you really went the extra mile on that, buddy. Like, So I actually well, for one thing, I want to delve a bit into the stuff on conventions a little bit, but before I do, I want to ask you something that I don't want to forget, which is earlier you mentioned, you know, you had the experience of playing Kingdom Hearts on stream, and it didn't, you know, match your nostalgia, and I'm sure we've all had a similar experience with some other sort of game. Has there been sort of the opposite effect, where you go back to a game and you either appreciate it in a new way, or it like totally lives up to everything you had hoped it to be? Like, have you ever taken your stream through some of your favorite games? And if so, what are some of your like favorite historical games?
So funny enough, I actually I kind of went on so I was really into school. So I didn't play a lot of games when I was in high school and in college. I actually was very, very, very focused on my studies. I liked studying. I liked being a good student. That was what I did. So when I finally like got out of college and I was kind of looking at games, I had realized there was almost like a decade's worth of games that I had missed or I hadn't played, or you know what I mean? So I actually kind of this is before I started streaming full time, but when I started playing these games, like I started out with Ori and the Blind Forest. That was the first single player game I ever streamed, right into Undertale. So a lot of those games that like that I kind of found, I had actually just played them for the first time on stream, and it's been like that for the last 3 years, I want to say. There have been games I've wanted to revisit on stream again, like Nier Automata was one of my favorites. It was just so beautiful, and also the control wise, like something about it was so intuitive to how I play, and I was just like,
the controls are perfect in Nier Automata.
They're absolutely perfect.
They're absolutely perfect, yeah.
I love this game. So some games I have like that where I think back on, I'm like, I really want to like stream that again. So I have been considering it. I actually just played a game that I want to play already again, but I just streamed it. So I'm like, I might play this offline, which was of course the remake. I was like, I'm in love. I love this game. So I might play it on the hard mode offline.
Or you could stream it, just like Melly did, literally.
Melly streamed that.
I highly recommend. I mean, I think because learning on hard is such a journey that I don't know. I'm sure your community would enjoy seeing something like that. But it is a completely different game on hard mode for sure.
I felt like I was just like BSing the whole time, and that's okay. I actually like I say a lot of the times I'm like, you know what? Sometimes it's nice I don't have to use my brain, and I definitely enjoy that sometimes because it's just like I can just mindlessly like spam stuff or whatever and just enjoy the story. Which is why I actually like playing it on the normal mode first before going into the hard mode. Especially if I want to just enjoy the story, because for me it's like the stories of these games that really makes it for me, not like the actual gameplay. Even if it's like, I guess if it's intuitive, that's great, love it even more. If it's not, I can sit through it and not, you know, gripe about it the whole time. So but I did feel like I was like, this is a bit too easy, I feel at times, and those are the games I want to revisit again on a harder mode, and Remake being one of them. because I was like, I'm just like smashing my way through this. I should not be be able to do that.
It's just mashing like square and
I was like, this is so easy. I love it.
Okay, but during remake, did you actually like trade out your equipment? Like, you weren't using iron bangles for all. Okay.
No. I was like upgrading the whole time. I was actually maxing out weapons that people were like, you don't need that proficiency, and I'm like, yes, I do. I need 100%. And I would just get these useless things and never use it, like abilities, I guess. So.
I actually do want to do a third playthrough where I only use male bat and iron bangles just to like just for the memes.
For the memes.
This is actually kind of a funny story that I could tell you. So one of our friends who comes around here, his name is Tony. I can remember him like talking to me one day, and he was telling me about like the first time he was playing Kingdom Hearts, and he was talking about Kingdom Hearts 2, and his friend came in while he was playing it, and he was on the Roxas fight. And he was like, this is just so hard. Like I'm having a lot of fun, because like this whole time he like at that point he like felt like not really challenged up until then. He's like, this fight is so good though, but like it is a lot harder. And he's like, I mean, man, what you could do is maybe change your keyblade. And he goes, what?
Oh, he didn't know?
So this is the thing. He played the entirety of Kingdom Hearts 2 up until that point with the Kingdom Key. And he wasn't using any magic, because he was like, why don't you try using Raflaga? And so he did, and he was like, oh my god, this is so much better. And then I was like, oh, wait, stop for a second. And I was like, did you play Kingdom Hearts 1? He goes, yeah. And I went, you didn't know up till now that you could change your key? And he was like, yeah.
Now I'm malding.
And I was like, you played the entirety of Kingdom Hearts 1 with a Kingdom Key? And he was like, yes.
I couldn't even fathom.
Tony's an anime hero. He's amazing.
I will
that honestly though.
Man.
I struggle with that game.
In the games, that should be a trophy in the PS4 versions. Like, play just with the Kingdom Key.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, like, I rated someone one day who was streaming Kingdom Hearts, like the first one, and this person was like level 1, like beating the entire game like level 1, and I was like,
wow.
I watched a speed run of that one time.
I was like, what am I? This guy is still like super chill. I still have him at it and everything. I was like I couldn't, my mind was just like, it was like, you know, when your internet isn't connecting, it was just error 404. I was like, what? I was like, what? And he was in Halloween Town. I'll never forget Halloween Town. And he's against like those 3 brats, and he just absolutely offs them. I was like, those are children and they had families, but okay. You're level 1. And I don't understand. And it was just so funny. I was absolutely mind blown. I watched the rest of his playthrough and felt like a complete inadequate. I was like, okay, that's fine. So,
I don't know. I keep talking about Games Done Quick so freaking much lately, but like, I don't know if you've heard of Games Done Quick.
Yes.
They're doing their event right now, and I was talking to Rory because like, I got pretty far into The Witcher 3, but like I was telling Melly, I was like, my mic. I said to Mel, I like added her and Ash, and I was like, you two need to watch this together, okay? And like we were watching it, like Rory and I were watching it with each other, and he's doing it. The speedrunner was doing it on the PC old patch. So like there were a bunch of stuff that like they could do that didn't get like glitches and stuff that weren't present in the new patches. Okay. And he was doing things like I was like, in under an hour he got to Triss, and I was like, no, oh my god.
Is this Witcher 1 or Witcher 3?
Witcher 3.
Witcher 3.
Yeah. Okay.
Witcher 3,
and
yeah.
I was like looking at Rory, and I was like, this took me hours to get up to. Now, granted, he was doing an any percent, but I was like, this took me hours to get up to. This is incredible. Which then I looked at Rory and I was like, so this is how you felt during the winter Games Done Quick, when he was watching Devil May Cry 5.
Yeah, that's right.
Watching Devil May Cry 5, and there was a character, like the 2 characters were fighting like this one boss, and he said that he beat him in like 3 hits, and he was like, I feel really inadequate right now as a gamer. And
yeah,
like I felt
forever to beat that boss, like many different lives. And I was like upset.
That's how I always feel after watching Don Gurry. I'm just like, I'm trash at this
Yeah,
game.
exactly. Yeah, like it's so what me and Morgan have been doing is we made a list of like all the games we love that are being done at SGDQ right now, so we've been make sure to like both watch them together. And it's funny, like it's basically where it on the one hand it's a lovely thing to do, of course, and it's been a lot of fun, but on the other hand we're basically trading embarrassment, right? It's like, oh, like I played a lot of this game, now I'm really embarrassed, and then it'll be a game that Morgan's played a lot of. Morgan's like, oh no, like what? It's basically gone back and forth like that, but it's an absolute blast.
It's pretty hilarious.
Cool. Yeah, it's definitely like, I feel like a hidden art, because some people, like I've definitely heard people being like, oh well, yeah, if you do that enough you could just, but I'm like, dude, like some of these are precise.
But if you do it enough though, that's like, I know people like some of the speedrunners too will have how many times they have gone through the game like as a ticker. And like I've seen ones in the thousands.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god. I mean, no wonder you know the game so well.
The old school games, like if they do Banjo-Kazooie or Super Mario 64, like watching them speedrun my whole childhood in like an hour is hilarious. I'm like, that took me like 5 years when I was 5, but whatever, like it's cool. I don't care.
Just go ahead and do it in 2 minutes. All right.
Actually, if you want a really funny one to watch, the Super Mario 64 one is hilarious, because it's literally like one of the things that the guy would do is he would do like some kind of glitch thing, and I can't replicate it because there's no way I can replicate this noise. But you know how like when you jump with Mario, he'll go Yahoo! And he was like doing this weird glitch thing where he would jump a bunch of times.
Was it the backwards jump up the stairs?
That might have been one where he was going like yeah. It was really freaky. Like
how you get up the stairs really fast at like one of the later levels. It's like
oh my god. Some of them are really funny. Like Rory and I love Untitled Goose Game, and so Rory and I in January we watched a speed run for Untitled Goose Game, which I think took like 15 minutes to do without glitches, and it took under 2 minutes with glitches. It's like good
under 2 minutes. Wow.
It was actually amazing. Yeah, I was super impressed with all they found out. I have a question actually, Pearl. Sure. That's a follow-up for something you mentioned, because you mentioned you loved Nier Automata, and in particular you identified the controls. Have you played any of the other like Platinum games like Bayonetta or Metal Gear Revengeance or anything? Because you might find a similar thing, because they're very good at what they do in terms of making action.
Play Astral Chain on the Switch.
Oh, Astral Chain, that's right. I haven't played that one myself.
I don't think I have actually. I do remember being like, I want to check out like more of these like types of games, or like by the same creator. I think I ended up getting sidetracked, and I'm trying to think of what I played after Nier Automata, but I think it was actually FF15. So I jumped right back into Square Enix, or Squenix as I call them. And I was right back into Squenix games right after that. But I remember being, and that was also a very intuitive, like game wise, but the story just kind of went like, so, that one was like, that was a whole mood for me, I guess, for a bit. But
did you play the vanilla one, or did you play the the Royal Edition?
Wait for
15.
FF15. Ooh. I'd have to look. This was a while ago. I remember doing the DLCs, but I don't remember if it was Royal Edition. I'd have to look.
I don't think I ever got the Royal Edition. I know I played almost through Prompto's story, and then that was the last one. I was so sad when I did hear that there was supposed to be like an Araneo one and a Luna one.
Check this out.
Oh, I don't want to say too much because Melly is going to be playing Final Fantasy, so never mind. Sorry.
Gotcha. All right, I won't say anything. Sorry, I didn't mean to ruin the whole story for you. But just be prepared for massive disappointment and tears. I'm telling you, I was not prepared for that. I was like, and then it just got worse. It just kept getting worse. I was like it just kept getting worse. I don't know how else to say it.
I'm sure Melly is now looking forward to it more than ever.
It's a solid first part. You'll appreciate it. You'll like it. It's no, I'm not gonna say anything in case you haven't played the other Final Fantasies.
No, like literally, remake was my very first Final Fantasy. So I went to it. I went into it fresh, and I went into it with no prior knowledge of anything. So, yeah. Okay. And thankfully, I've managed to avoid, I think, most spoilers at this point. I don't know how, but
you'll see.
Melly's
Don't
been
talk
doing a
about
sort
that
of like
game.
jump into new franchises thing for a little while now, like the
Yeah.
Witcher franchise, Final Fantasy, Dead Space.
Yeah.
So Melly's
can
been
games-
catching up on games.
Are
It
there
can
any
be
games,
scary to jump. Oh, what's up?
Oh no, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Are there any games that you've played either, I mean, on or off stream that you kind of were like, I guess I'll try to play this on stream, and then you ended up really enjoying it more than you thought you were going to?
I'm trying to think. I think Undertale.
Yeah.
Was that one. I started playing it. It was super charming, and I was just like, let's stream it. And that ended up being one of my favorite games, like, ever. I was like, I'd heard from a friend of a friend, like, it was a good game. Because a lot of my IRL friends don't really game. Like, even my guy friends, like, they're all just, they have their own hobbies, I guess. And I had heard from a friend of a friend, like, that at the time had been, like, Game of the Year before. This was, like, 2017 or 2018. I don't remember. I'm so sorry. And basically, like, just a few months after the new year, I started playing it. And I remember just being like, this is actually much better than I had. Like, it was an 8-bit game, so I didn't know what to expect. I was like Pokemon-esque, and then I figured I didn't know anything about it going into it. I just knew it was 8-bit. And I ended up going into it, and it became one of my favorite games ever. And I was so happy I streamed that one. So I also did the multiple playthroughs. So I got challenged. It was a fun time. I don't want to like give anything away, but there's multiple playthroughs and runs you can do. And I did like one of the harder runs, like actually, sorry, the hardest run. And like when you finally beat that, it was very satisfying as well. So it was fun.
Okay, so Bad Access said something about...
Oh
You
god.
put a art.
Well,
drawing
Okami is probably
It was
what
Okami.
Bad Axis is going
Oh my
after
gosh,
here.
that's kind of sad because I love Okami.
I had no problems with it. Like, it was, I thought that the little misogynistic bug on your back was annoying, but I actually didn't.
Oh yeah,
Hate it. Yeah, I was like, okay, shut up. Like, I was like, moving on. We're
yeah,
not
that
gonna
little
listen to
guy,
this.
like, I haven't beaten it yet, but like, yeah, that little guy does get a little bit annoying sometimes.
Yeah, a lot of my mods, they either loved or hated that one. My mods, because my mods are straight up with me. They're just like, I like this game, I don't like this game. And Cordell was very vocal about being like, this game sucks. And I was like, I'm sorry, I'll try to get through it. So, he didn't like watching that one. And yeah, it's Okami.
Or Kami.
Origami. Oh my god,
The
Cordell.
Origami King? Paper Mario?
So that
Don't give
actually,
him that much credit.
you've inadvertently answered another question, Pearl, by playing Okami, because I asked you about Platinum Games games, and that wasn't a Platinum Games game, but it is Hideki Kamiya, who did Nier Automata,
Gotcha.
or worked on Nier, who does Platinum Games, well, broadly, they actually worked with another creator on Nier Automata. But yeah, actually, so that is actually one of his other games. It's not very well known that he did that one.
Yeah,
Actually,
I didn't know that.
It's that's a divisive game, I think, among not just your mods, but among the...
I like that game
It's
a
funny
lot.
though, because I thought it was so pretty. So I was like, it's very
it's so
aesthetically
beautiful, isn't
pleasing.
it?
So I'm confused why this isn't a fun thing to watch, I guess. I was like, oh, interesting. I guess maybe it was because like the brush strokes were a bit like weird for me to get used. Like they were not exact at all, so I was having a time with that. And also, like, when I think I'm like doing a circle, it would just be like a long oval or something, and I'm like, why is it
Oh
doing
yeah,
that?
I would do the same thing. Like I was using my Switch controller for it, and I'd be like, okay, yeah, that's totally a circle, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, sometimes it would like, oh gosh, it was so funny because sometimes it was totally not what I was trying to do, and it would just do something and I'm like, okay, it did that. And then other times I would try to do something, it was just like not taking it, and I was like, so
Aesthetic of the game was really like, I would love another game like it, like that kind of aesthetic. I love like the not like ancient Japan, but like oldish kind of Japanese, or like anything that's like Japan, like what's the word that I'm looking for? Like authentic kind of Japan, like Persona and Yakuza. Like I love games like those too.
yeah. I just thought it was very aesthetically pleasing. I liked the music in it. And I thought I learned so much like lore, I guess, like mythology lore.
Mhm.
And I was like, I did not know any of this. And I had a lot of people in my chat that I could tell like had really either watched that playthrough a few times or were very good at history, and they were basically telling me like the lore and like about like the legends, and I was just like, that I never knew that because I never actually took a class, even though my major has a lot to do with like world history. I had actually never taken a class on Japanese history or Japan's history, and especially in folklore, like any of their legends and stuff like that. So I thought that was super interesting, and I learned a lot about it. So
yeah, that was part of what I liked about the game too. I actually love when games have like some kind of historical aspect to it, like even if they take liberties with it. Like that's why I liked the Uncharted series so much.
Yeah,
like I love anything that has to do with history, like especially when they're teaching you. Like, have you ever played Valiant Hearts? Have you ever heard of that one?
no, I've heard of it. I haven't played it.
If you ever want to play it on stream, like it's fairly short. It'd be easy to get through, but it's all about World War One. And you go through like it's definitely like characters that are like fictional, but it's fictional characters set in the real world of World War One. And my favorite thing about it though is that like you can like when you get to certain like areas like you got to the Battle of the Somme, and they would actually like you could actually press a button and it would bring up a little excerpt with actual pictures, and you could just read about it. That, and then you could also find like little trinkets and stuff. Then they would tell you what the trinkets were for.
But did that start? Where did they start that game? Out of curiosity, like before the assassination, or like in the middle of the war? Like, was it the whole?
It was. I think it's a few years into the war. I want to say.
Oh, okay, I was like, I wonder where they would start that, in what country, and like.
Yeah, it goes back and forth between different characters, and it's really moving actually. Like it's definitely a nice game to like play on, like or just to play by yourself too actually. But it's one of my favorite ones. The arts, it's like 2D kind of art style, and I love it. It's just one of my favorites. So if you ever want to play that one, if you like history stuff, that's definitely a good one to play.
Awesome. I'll keep that in mind. I'll write that down.
Oh,
if they're not behaving, no worries. If they're not behaving, just bop them. It's fine.
Are they used to being bopped?
They just keep repeating secret society.
Yeah,
the ancestral cult leader.
We dealt with wilder chats than them. Don't worry about it.
They're very good. But if just bop them if you have to. What was your question? I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Oh, I just had a question. So you mentioned earlier, a few minutes ago, that you're like you don't necessarily have a ton of IRL friends who are into gaming. So is like the community aspect of Twitch like what drew you to the platform, or like what specifically drew you to Twitch as a platform for streaming?
Well, I used to play, like I said, a lot of WoW and League, and that's when I started watching Twitch. I wasn't streaming at the time. I had, my little itty bitty laptop at college, and streaming just really wasn't an option. Even back then, like you really couldn't. It would just like freeze. Like I think one of my friends had tried and it just froze, and we were like, all right. And so I guess what happened was like I had I'm trying to think. Yeah, I had just kind of stayed in those like online circles for a bit, watching certain streamers. Sometimes the hype dies down, but you still follow them just because like you've known about them for so long, if that makes any sense. Like I don't even watch these League players anymore, but I have them all followed just because I used to watch them so much when I was in college and stuff like that. And I guess what ended up happening was when I was streaming so infrequently before I went part-time and then before going full-time, I had kind of already built like a very small community, and just from playing online with so many different friends, and then I would get introduced to friends of friends if we needed to play with more people, and it just kind of grows from there. So you have like an online friend group kind of. Well, I had a bunch of different friend groups that I would just kind of float in between and play games whenever people could. And basically what happened was when I started streaming is when it kind of became more centralized and like I guess just more solidified for me, and then that's just kind of how it ended up becoming what it is now, I guess, because I kept building off of that.
So what made you kind of like pull the trigger on like I'm gonna stream versus just like enjoying it as the community and the viewer aspect?
So I quit my job. I was just miserable, did not like it, and I didn't know what to do. And it's funny because I had mentioned to my mom, like, I wish I could just try streaming full time, but even though I feel like it's too late to really get into the game, And this is while I was like started to look for another job. I didn't even like look, like I literally just flat out quit. It was an awful job, and I just ended up I was like, no, quit. And so I didn't renew the contract with them. Basically, they were expecting me to. So what happened was I had like a month of time where I was like looking for another job, and then my mom was like, you should try streaming full time. And I was like, are you okay with that? And she was like, because I thought like an alien had possessed her.
Like Mama Pearl is the one who said it. Yeah.
I was like, are you okay? Like, did you hit your head? Like that, it was just so out of character and out of the blue. And she was like, no, like you have been miserable in like the last 3 jobs you've had. Like, I want to see you actually having fun and doing something you like to do. And it was like so weird. I was like, that's not my mom. She's normally like, just work hard, get over it. Like, I was blown away. And so I was like, yo, she's going to give me that chance. I'm going to take it. So that's just kind of what happened when I jumped to full time. So, but which really, really helped, because if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't I really think it would take a lot to really like make it on Twitch if you're not full time. But I also think it depends on like what your time slot is, like how much you're streaming, and like there's so many factors and people you know what I mean. So I think there's so much that goes into it. But for me, I was like, I feel like if I'm gonna go for this, I need to do full time. So that's kind of my thought process on that. So but I can't, measuring success is also like a very weird metric. Like how are you going to measure success on Twitch? Like by how popular you are, by how many viewers you have, like by how many subs you have, by how many followers you have. So it's like, and all of those can be completely up or down depending on what kind of content you have. So it's like, it's kind of hard now that like I've been in it for about not almost 2 years, but like another 6 months it'll be 2 years. So but it's interesting. It's been a ride for sure.
So, a question we normally ask people on the cast is, how'd you find Twitch, and like what made you start like getting into it? And I assume you started getting into Twitch because of like the league playoffs, or like just watching league matches.
Pretty much, because the professional matches were all like from the Riot Games account, and it was also just word of mouth. Like all my friends would be like, "Oh, are you catching that game?" And I'd be like, oh, I didn't even realize it was on today. So we would all like watch like in a call or something, and we'd be like, no, they're losing, or yes, they're winning, or whatever. We all had different teams that we would root for. So, and we also had a lot of EU friends, so we would always do like NA versus EU, stuff like that. And it's always hilarious because NA always like, it's just they never do well. So it was never a contest in my opinion, but my other friends will disagree. They'll passionately. So yeah, I guess I got into it from League technically, and then from there I think it just grew, like, because like I would go and try to find streams that were playing like games that I used to like Super Mario Sunshine or something. And then I would go find a stream, and then I would like pass out to that, because I'm the type of person, like I fall asleep with noise in the background. So then I would just like put on a stream and I would just like fall asleep. So
how long were you like a viewer before you started streaming?
Oh gosh, I mean, I technically had some streams here and there in like 2016, but like I still consider myself a viewer because I would only stream for my friends who were like, can we watch your game? And this was back when Discord or Skype didn't have sharing like your screen capabilities. And the only reason I streamed was like to just show the gameplay, basically, because I did have some friends that would like I would try to help like get better at the game, or just like if they wanted to watch me play. So I would just throw the stream on for that. Like I was like literally like zero audio, like zero me talking, like no cam, just like in-game
just straight gameplay.
Yeah,
straight gameplay,
I didn't even never, because I'd be in a call with like all the people watching. It was like 2 to 3 viewers, you know, like when you're first starting out, and it was literally just my friends like asking me to stream the gameplay for them. So like seriously, like taking streaming more seriously, I probably wasn't until like 2018, I would say. Maybe 27, like late 2017. Definitely not early 2017 though.
So since it was sort of like a gray area, do you remember your first official stream? And if so, like how did that go?
It was sometime in 2015, and it was a mess. Like it was, because you get just so you guys know, in case you weren't aware, you do get an achievement for your first stream ever. So you can have that date if you ever wanted to know when your like first stream was. And that's somewhere in your achievements, I believe, in your dashboard for your channel. So you can go find it. 2015, I probably just put on the stream, muted everything, and was streaming League. So it wasn't a very ceremonial like type of look at me, guys. Like I was just like, all right, here's some gameplay. You like, you fucks, like whatever.
You're gonna sit, watch it, and enjoy it.
Do you remember the first one where you're like, no, this is me actually trying to stream, not just like, throwing it up?
It's so hard. I guess like my first like full time like streaming, like when I had officially decided I was going full time, maybe. Like I'd have to really think on it because it was so gradual. Because I went from part time to full time. Because I was definitely streaming part time. When I was I was streaming 3 to 4 times a week instead of like 5 to 6 times a week. So it really just depends. Like it was such a gradual. It really is like a very gradual, just like.
It was a process. It was a process. Yeah.
So. Oh my god, they're still spamming Secret Society.
Well, Travis
I may have
now, too.
initiated that one.
They've recruited someone new.
It's the if you can't beat them, join them mentality. I'll just like fuck it.
The Secret Society is a channel and voice chat in my Discord that you can like redeem for, and they are all. I don't even know what.
It's like a raid, but they're already here.
I love it. Oh my god, you are in charge of a cult. Look at this.
It's not a cult. I prefer to consider it an alternate spiritual community.
I mean, I saw your tweet about like the Phantom Thieves thing, and I was like, is this?
I like how Spectre's is just like, for legal reasons, there is no cult.
That's the meme that we have for my bot. Because I stupidly indulged them and got them a little cult emote that they can use on BTTV. Worst mistake. It never went back. Like, I was like, nope, now they're actually always going to call this a cult. And lo and behold, it has always been considered cult-like, which is hilarious because none of them listened to me at all. So I'm just like, wait, aren't cults supposed to listen to their cult leaders? And they're like, nah. And I'm like, okay, all right, let me get this straight. I get to be called a cult leader and I don't even get to boss anyone around? And they're like, nah.
Yeah, you get none of the pluses and all the downsides.
I get all the downsides, none of the pluses. I was like,
it was called the Puka cult for a while, right?
They're still calling it that, from what I'm aware. It could have evolved. It could have changed.
Is that your raid call now?
I don't think so. We have a bunch of different raid things, but I think they make up their own.
My favorite raid call that I usually see is the I can't remember if it's like we're here, like, or we're saying something because Pearl will get mad at us, like, or something like that.
At least they're not saying Pearl's gonna hit us, because they used to say that, and I was like, that's actually TOS. You really can't say that. And they'd be like, Pearl's gonna hit me if I don't raid. I'm like, don't say that. So, yeah, no, it's like Pearl gets mad if we don't say hi, I think, is what it is.
So
I guess I think I was gonna ask you, like, I mean, because obviously you have an amazing like community. Like, I think I was gonna ask, my original question was gonna be like, what's been the most unexpected thing about building growing your community on Twitch? I guess part of the answer is I guess you weren't expecting to create a cult.
I'm sorry, before you answer that, can we just all take a moment for those who noticed the incredible look of skepticism on Pearl's face when Melly said that she has a great community?
Let's clip that.
Sometimes. No, they I think I thought the question was going somewhere else, and then it went in a different direction. I was like, oh, okay, I can answer this one, because no, they've been great. I've run into other communities that have not been as great, though, and they've been actually very challenging. So my community is very tight-knit, and it's because of this bullying and this this online like attacks, like constant attacks on me and my community, they're very close now. So from the worst reasons or ways, like we are very close because of it. So because we've gone through a lot of fucking shit. I was actually telling you guys a bit about it before, that like one little thing from earlier this year, like that was like the tip of the iceberg of all the stuff that we've gone through as a community. So it's been a lot. Cows, what the heck? They're all okay. I'm not gonna look at them. Just they're being a type away right now.
Okay, the high tide. I love that. That's hilarious.
Yeah, we use that one. I like that one. We need to change one of them though. I think it gets lost in translation or something. So I do need to change some of the raid messages, but that one's good. I like that one. We have
I love it when some of them can just like they really are a part of the whole channel, because like I know that there's a streamer called she goes by Rainshine, and whenever she raids, her thing is like there's a rainstorm coming. So like that's always really cool. Like that's why like
the ones that are
yeah.
pixel.
So like I know that like your thing is like because now your Discord is the Puka Ocean, you know, and you have shells and you have pearls, and yeah. I think it's awesome.
I actually like have been trying to find another name for it. I just can't think of anything that I consider better than that, I guess. And I'm like, I need to find something else though. So, yeah, we've come up with a lot of puns though, because there are a bunch of dad jokes in there. In my channel, like it's like all dad jokes. I'm like, none of you are dads though, so this makes no sense. Like,
hey, Kilroy!
Whoa, Kilroy! Thank you so much for the raid. Okay, first
Speaking
of all,
of raid,
okay, raiders, ignore all the people spamming. All right, there's no cult here. There's nothing going on.
Okay.
Thank you.
If you're here and you're not following Kilroy, you fucked up. All right, fix your mistake.
Notice how the caster now says, give Kilroy a follow or be banned. By popular demand.
Yeah. Trev updated our caster command to reflect the sentiment with which we believe it should be told. If you're here from Kilroy's and you don't know who we are, you may remember us from the time we had Kilroy on the podcast. We are a weekly podcast called Streamers Become Human every Wednesday at 9 Eastern. And let me take a moment to introduce you to everybody. On the top left there is Trev, otherwise known as TL Breezy. He's an excellent streamer, and he runs the show around here. If you see work being done, it's probably because he did it. And in the middle top there is my absolute favorite person in the world, the beautiful and wonderful and talented Mapsio Morgan, whose name is Morgan, and she's a wonderful variety streamer focusing on farming sims and the like. On the bottom left is Sugar Melly. Melly, one of the best variety streamers on the platform, in my opinion, and in the opinion of anybody who is correct. And on the bottom right is me, Rory, or Toctopus, and I ramble about nerd shit, semi-professionally. And you can find a link to all of our channels down below in the panels. And on the top right is our wonderful, amazing, talented guest, PukaPearl, an excellent variety streamer and cosplayer and loot goblin, and enthusiast of all great games. And she has a very wild and interesting community who has graced us with their presence today.
They're dedicated.
And their tiny fonts.
Definitely dedicated.
Welcome everybody to the stream. It is an absolute blast to have you here. Okay, but Kilroy's been trying to make it back on the podcast. He's been trying to get the return appearance. We'll get on it, Kilroy. We'll get on it.
Yeah.
Actually, we can do a if you're here and you've arrived sort of partway through and you would like to see the full interview, it will be posted on YouTube on that playlist. All our VODs are posted there almost immediately after the episode concludes. So you can always watch past episodes there, and you can watch the episode with Kilroy back there. I'm going to keep bothering you. No worries. No, bother away, Kilroy. It's all good.
Okay, so what were we talking about beforehand? We were talking about raid messages and...
We're raid messages. We got raided. It's like we summoned Kilroy.
Yes.
I have a question unrelated to raids.
Sure.
Which is because I've asked you a bit about games that have oh my god, games that have sort of subverted your expectations, or like you talked about Kingdom Hearts, playing it and not enjoying it as much. Where you go to so many conventions and stuff like that, so many gaming related events, is there ever been a game that like you got really hyped for at a convention? Like, is there a standout thing like, oh, I got to play this and it was amazing from all your convention experience?
Oh man, you guys are gonna totally judge me, but I actually have like a very big like germaphobe thing, so I don't really touch or like demo many games at conventions. I actually weirdly very out of character, I think because it was just so sudden, but I did demo the remake, like the FF7 remake at PAX East this last year. And it was literally because Spectrus was there with me, who's also in the chat right now. We're just standing in front of the thing being like, waiting for our friends, don't know where they are, and this girl just came up to us, was like, yo, do you guys want to demo this? And we were like, aren't those tickets like so hard to get? And she's like, yeah, but we have extra, so take these. And we're like, okay. So we just took them and went, and we actually got to like demo that game, and I remember being like, oh, this is actually really fun and really nice, and now I want to play this game really bad. So like the full game. So I remember that kind of hyped me for it, but everywhere else I've been, I have not demoed like any games. I don't like touching the
so like
stuff
during
that everyone else
this,
has.
so during this pandemic, you were like, I'm vindicated.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know. To be fair, I did like immediately. I wiped it down, and then I instantly, like right after, I did the hand sanitizer and washed my hands. I was like, I don't like touching a lot of stuff.
These are all the moral practices people need now.
You've been preparing for this pandemic your whole life, is what you're saying.
I'm just very, I don't know, I get sick very easy, so I think for me it was just very, like, I kind of let my excitement for the game override my fear of getting COVID-19. Like, but I guess like right at PAX East though, that was before it was like a very big thing, for the record. Like it was kind of just like people were talking about it, but it wasn't like we were all very confused at how big it was, I guess. And then like literally right after, it was like the outbreak, and everyone was like, oh, this is really serious.
It was literally like a week and a half after, because like the day that I like, because Pearl and I saw each other this year at PAX.
Again. We did.
Yeah, I was so happy. But I think we went on the 28th or something, I want to say, of February.
Yeah, it was just, we went the 27th, 28th, so yeah.
It was kind of a good thing that, because like most of the time I'm like, oh, I wish that they had kept this in April, you know, because like I feel like it's just a lot better to have in April. It's like I have a convention right before, like a month before that as well. So I was like, oh well, I really hope that next year they do it in April. And I was like, oh my god, I am so happy that this was not in April, because it would have gotten canceled. Yeah. Yeah, like because it was going into the very beginning of March, the like tail end of the convention. So that was definitely like a week and a half later that everything was. It
like really exploded down very quick. I remember me and Morgan took a trip in mid-February, and it wasn't even like on people's radar. It felt like crossing the Canada-US border. They were like, hey, have you guys been to China? We were like, no. And they were like, sick. Or, you know, as insofar as whatever the border patrol equivalent of that is. But then, like, it immediately turned around and, like, stuff started closing. Like, it was like...
The border patrol equivalent of that is definitely not going sick.
No, it definitely... They're not quite so friendly down there, down at the border. But, like
up at the border,
and then in mid-March was when I went down to see Morgan again, and I think I got down there the day they closed the US-Canada border. Like I think I was down there, and then later that afternoon they closed the border, and I was like, well,
we were like, cool,
barely made it in there. Like, yeah, that was
yeah, Bear was stranded in Europe. I had a few viewers that were stranded in different areas. So that was quite the saga. Yeah, Bear was in Ireland, I believe.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I had a few other viewers that were kind of scattered as well, and it was bad. They were getting home was very rough for some of them. It was very intense would be the correct word.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. Was in the U.S. one day before the borders closed. Yeah, making it back to Canada in April was interesting. They were very surprised to see a Canadian man walking across the border during COVID. They were like,
Wait, you're walking across?
Yeah. Well, like,
Actually
me and Morgan drove down to like the U.S. So I'm Canadian. I live in Canada, and so like we drove down to the U.S. and then I stayed there with Morgan for about a month, and then when I came back, like I was driven like to the border, and then I like walked across, and the Canadian border security people were like,
they're like, who the fuck is this guy? Why is he walking?
they were like, they had to like call their boss to make sure that I was like allowed to like not just come back in but get on the plane, but they have to let you get to your final destination, because I can't just like cross the border and then have a 2-week long nap in the park. Like they gotta let me get home.
I mean, it was just nice being able to spend that whole month with him, because I haven't gotten to see him since April, and it sucks. So
yeah, COVID can end anytime now. Anytime, as soon as possible.
We're only 8 months in, and we're still banking on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely did not handle that as well as we could have.
I definitely feel like it's awful too, because like at the beginning of this month I was like 2020 is gonna be my year, and then
I think a lot of people thought that, and then it was just like, nah.
Like, is it a good year in terms of like I have this really awesome boyfriend, and I get to at least spend time with my friends online and stuff, like I have an anniversary with Rory in less than 2 weeks, so, but at the same time it's like, god dang, it's been a year. Oh my god, like it literally feels like yesterday was April. It's weird to think that it
feels like it's been a
more
weird
than halfway
time skip. Yeah.
Oh my god, we're in like an anime time skip. This is the bad part. Like,
are we the filler episode?
Hopefully eventually we're going to get to the part where they talk about like all the bad stuff that happened in the time skip, but we're in the time skip right now. We are in the bad place.
Oh no. We're in the shitty subplot. We are. This is like
we're in
the
filler.
fiction no one wanted. This is like, no.
These are all the filler episodes that nobody wanted.
Why are we here, and why are we not at the conclusion?
I'll take that.
Nando, what the hell?
That's in the title, actually.
You can just bop him. It's fine.
Actually, Trev has called people weebs for so long now that.
Trev weeb.
Well, I don't call people weebs. Right? I get called a weeb, and then I'm not.
He tries to say he's not, and he plays Digimon.
That's not.
And Yu-Gi-Oh! No, this was actually really good one time, because I was actually talking to Rory about it. Because I was like, you don't watch anime, so it doesn't really make you a weeb. And I was like, because I can't remember what I said. I think I said, like, you have watched or played this thing, so that makes you a weeb. And I'm like, but you don't watch Digimon, so I guess you're not a weeb. And then I was like, but you do play Yu-Gi-Oh! So you are a weeb.
But I only play Yu-Gi-Oh! Because Trev. That's the crazy part. It's spreading.
Where it all stems from.
Like, I do not
I love it when people
condone or.
I love it when people actually do get like really like intense about it too. They're like, "Yeah, I'm a weeb. Why are you making fun of me for it?" I'm like, "I'm a weeb, and I'm making fun of myself for it. What do you have?"
Defensive. I don't know, because I've seen some like shows, and I've also like Persona 5 is kind of like they would say weeby as well, but it's weird because I think people think I know way more about that culture or that kind of like stuff in general than I actually do, which is always so funny to me, because they'll be like, oh yeah, you know all about this. I'm like, no idea, never seen it. Like One Piece, like they're always talking about One Piece. I'm like, I have no idea. I know there's pirates and there's fruit and they eat fruit. That's all I
didn't even know there was fruit. You knew more than me.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I know the entire
fruit,
goal is
yeah.
they're searching for treasure, and that's it.
The fruit gives them powers or something, but it can be random, and they sink or something if you eat the fruit. So you like it's like this whole thing, because it's like they're all pirates, right? So it's like you can't swim.
The fruit gives them powers. Is it to fight off? What was it? Scurvy?
No idea. Oh, I have no idea. No, I don't know.
We gotta get someone on who's an expert in One Piece on the next podcast who can explain what the fruit
that
does.
would be.
Trust me, my viewers would know. I have a few that talk about it nonstop.
That would also be my brother Mac. My brother Mac is
that's
obsessed with One Piece. He loves One Piece.
Yeah.
I have watched like 50 episodes of One Piece, I think, and then I was like hardcore trying to watch it because I was
Isn't
like,
One
this is
Piece
pretty
like
cool.
800 episodes?
Yes, and it's over 1,000 chapters in the manga as well. So,
Who has
you know,
time for
anybody who wants to start out One Piece, good luck. But I can remember like really liking it too, and then I was like, I did the thing that I usually do when I watch long anime shows like that, and I stopped watching. Not because I didn't like it, but because I just got off of it.
There they are. I told you. They would wake up. It's like they just wake up out of nowhere and they're like, One Piece! Who said that? And then they pop off and I'm like, I have no idea what's happening.
Okay, I'm going to make the entire chat hate me for like 2 seconds. Either hate me or love me, but who remembers the 4Kids One Piece theme song? Do you guys hate or love that? which one is it? Because I go back and forth.
In chat.
I love it in terms of memes, but I hate it in terms of that it gets stuck in my head. It's awful. It's the worst thing ever.
I'm waiting for the response. I don't know if they know. Well, they should, but if
anybody who's a
seen
huge anybody who's a huge One Piece fan would know like what I meant when I said yeah yo dreamin'. See, already I'm like,
no
I want to start. I want to start
literally
singing
no
it.
idea what
It's
that
no
awful.
idea.
Oh my god, it's so weird. I remember it. It's awful, isn't it?
Okay, yeah.
Alright, we have one. We have one
Alright.
four.
No, we
This
got one
person's
dope.
jam. Right on.
Oh?
It's awful, but yeah.
Okay, and now we have one against.
I think the other one's asleep because Jefferson would definitely know.
The thing about 4Kids anime too, like it gets me sometimes. Like if you ever want to watch something really funny, like just watch the 4Kids dubs of like any kind of anime that they had that was on 4Kids. So like Pokemon, and well, Pokemon's still kind of not really 4Kids, but they're still kind of the kiddie kind of dub, I guess. But Sailor Moon, One Piece, a lot of the like if you ever want to like Dragon Ball, like all of those are so funny to watch side by side. Like do the Funimation dub and do the 4Kids dub, because some of them are insanely terrible. Like they went as far as literally like you know like onigiri, like the little like triangle rice balls. Like that's not that hard of a concept for a kid to understand, because you could just call it a rice ball and they're gonna be like, oh, it's rice but formed into a ball. Got it. Oh my god, yeah, Captain Abby got it. So like there's one in Pokemon where they call like it's a meme where like Brock goes, I love donuts, jelly filled are my favorite, and it's just a rice ball. It's literally a rice ball.
It's so clearly not a jelly donut, and like
there was another one where
What?
like, and again like I've seen. Oops, sorry, wait a minute. My mic is like super old and I need to get a new one. But there's one of One Piece where like one of the characters, Zoro, is like tied up to a post and like for like a punishment, and so this little girl comes up and she wants to give him some food because he hasn't eaten in a few days, and she just had this plate of rice balls, and it's like, okay, whatever, you know, nothing much. Well, if you watch the 4Kids dub, what she gives him is a plate of badly made burnt cookies. They literally reanimated it. They reanimated stuff like crazy in these 4Kids dubs, and it was so weird. Like especially for actually both One Piece and for Sailor Moon, because, and I'm glad that people have kind of gotten out of this mentality as well, that like if it's animated that it's for children, because in Japan, the manga and the anime, both the manga and anime for One Piece and Sailor Moon especially, like those were made in Japan for teenagers. Those were teenage shows. And what they saw, like here in America, they were like, oh, that's a kid's show, it's animated. So they like got the rights to it and brought it over, and they had to cut a bunch of stuff out of these shows, and it was super weird. And like this made it even worse. Like you guys have to know about the Sailor Moon thing with like two of the characters for Sailor Uranus and Sailor Neptune.
Oh, the cousins thing.
So they literally what the characters were was they are a lesbian couple. That's what it was. pretty easy to understand. In the 4Kids, like, because they were very lovey with each other. Like, they'd hug each other. They'd look like they were about to kiss each other. The way that they look at each other was very romantic. And they made the characters cousins. They made them cousins. But, like, it got even weirder at times because, like, there was an episode where, like in the Japanese, they were just talking about, like, do you know, like, what, like, who shared the first kiss ever? It was Adam and Eve. And, like, they were just telling the tiny little story and stuff, and it was cute. And for some reason, in the English, I don't know if I can say it, in the English dub, they were talking about who their first kiss was. And so the girl was like, my first kiss was Brad. He was so handsome. And I was like, what is this? It was very weird. Like, I don't...
Sometimes I question the censorship for, like, certain things.
If you want, like, something really
certainly.
funny to watch these censorships of anime from 4Kids. And they are hilarious. I was laughing so hard. Oh my god.
That's wild. It's relatively mild in comparison, but Canadians in the audience will know that in Canada we did not have the children's cartoon series Beast Wars, because you could not have wars in the name of a children's show in Canada, so they renamed it Beasties, which only sounds about 1,000 times worse as a name. And so yeah, they just... I don't know why they insisted on that, but for some reason, yeah, you couldn't have wars in the title of a show. Which seemed, I mean, it worked perfectly well for American kids. I don't know why.
Also, Philip is right. In the 4Kids dub, so in like the Japanese and the Funimation, like there's actually a part with Nami's mother who actually gets shot and killed, and it's actually really emotional. Like if you're into the show, like if you're into the characters and stuff, or if you're just an emotional person, it'll make you tear up. Like, it's sad. And they completely ruined it in the 4Kids dub because, like, so Arlong is one of the characters. He's one of the bad guys in one of the arcs. And what it is he is pointing his gun at Nami's mother, and they're shot, like, she's shot dead right in front of them. And it's, like, really emotional. And in the 4Kids dub, they edited out the gun to just make him pointing at her, and he was like, you're gonna serve a long time in a dungeon. And that's just where Nami's mom went, apparently, forever, and she never tried to find her again, according to 4Kids. It's awful.
These are giant plot devices that are just...
I want to see like
poor
more
Belmere.
explorations of all of
Belmere's
these
right.
different things, like all the bizarre consequences that have resulted in certain versions being like canon, but only in this 4Kids universe. Oh, that sounds brilliant.
Why wouldn't Nami go back for her mother and try to find her?
God.
Like,
She's in the dungeon. She can't go out, obviously.
that, absolutely. She's like, oh, well, I can't, even though we defeated this guy, we have to follow the law, who, you know, even though this guy was a criminal and put her in a dungeon unlawfully. Bye, Mama. It's interesting. 4Kids
Well,
ruined
bad
everything.
acts. It's all. We crossed the Weeb line many moons ago.
Yeah, you did not leave for 2 seconds, buddy.
But yeah, like, just if you want something really funny, like go on to like YouTube and watch like the differences between like even just like the English, do like at least the English dub, like the Funimation English dub and the 4Kids English dub, and they're wild. They're so funny to watch. Like One Piece, one of the things that they always did was like they changed actual guns to cork guns.
What?
Like that would just intimidate people. One character talked about the age of a grape juice, and I was like, age? Do you mean wine? You're talking about wine. And like they were trying to make it a kids show, but like you can't start talking about age and grape juice and not think that it's wine. Like, I don't know. The whole thing's hilarious.
It's almost wild how like dumb kids are to believe this stuff, and then it's like you grow up and you're like, wow, I was that kid who believed that.
But the way that they would reanimate stuff, like I at the same time feel like it's a little bit like maybe disrespectful to the original animators as well, like of the show. Like, not to mention just a little bit weird. It's like I think we like maybe they don't give kids enough credit to just learn about things. Because like I just remembered one in fact there was what was it in Pokemon. again, it was like with a rice ball or something that like one of them dropped it and it was going down like a hill and they turned it into a sandwich. Like they just animated it very badly into a sandwich. Yeah.
Are rice balls like sacred? Like, why did they change?
I don't know why they felt like they needed to change some of that stuff. I guess like maybe they were thinking, oh, so kids can relate more in our country, but at the same time, like I said, like that could be like learning like processes for other kids, you know, like, oh, well, what's this thing? Like, and then they maybe learn more about Japanese culture or something maybe, but also it's a cartoon. Why do you need to change it?
Well, they do that like for Pixar movies. Like I don't know if you've ever seen Inside Out, but when oh god, I'm so sorry. The main character is her name is
Joy?
No, the kid.
Oh, Riley.
So they actually have it like the vegetables that like her parents are trying to get her to eat in one of her memories. It changes depending on what region you're in. So for American kids, it's broccoli, because apparently I never grew out of that apparently, but for like in America it was like broccoli, and in Japan it was like a completely different veggie. So they actually do that. Yeah, it's like it's because regionally, if it's not normally like a treat or a food item that kids would eat, they actually little kids can't. They'll just be like, what? So you have to like make it relatable. You have to
that
connect
makes
the dots
sense,
for them. Yeah. So yeah, but they do that in movies, I guess. So I've seen that. I remember watching like a little segment about that, and they do that for a lot of different movies as well. Like I can't think of any others off the top of my head right now, but that for that movie in particular, I remember seeing something about that, which I thought was cool. So
I guess like what I can understand is when they do it intentionally, because that's definitely intentionally.
Yeah.
Versus 4Kids just cutting out a lot of weird stuff.
The 90s was pretty censored, I would say.
Yeah, sure was.
Because there weren't like we didn't really have internet. Like I mean, kind of didn't, but you couldn't. There weren't the resources that we have now, where you could just look up the OG, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of us, like whatever we were spoon fed through what we watched on TV, was kind of all we could get at the time. But luckily, that's not the case anymore. So also not kids anymore. But
Bear Princess, is there a reason you guys called it Zootropolis and not Zootopia? Was there a thing about that?
Oh yeah, I heard
I was wondering, because do you remember, Morgan, when we watched it and I found that by accident? Because I like looked it up on IMDb and it came up Zootropolis on something, and I was like, wait, what's happening?
Just the UK wanted to be different.
The UK just wanted to be different. I thought maybe there was
Like,
like another thing called Zootopia that was like UK exclusive or something.
that movie was so good. I love it.
Yeah, it is a good movie, and I wanted to watch that with my community, and they go, "Okay, furry," and I was like, "All right, we're watching something else." Like, fuck you guys. I was like, "You guys will miss." I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, all right, you know what? I'm over it. Like, let's just watch something else, guys. Like, they're so mean.
Question for the guest. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, it's just interesting because I just realized too. So, is just the name changed to Zootropolis? Like in the movie, do they still call it Zootopia, or did they change like the dialogue in it as well to call it like for it to be Zootropolis? I just find that really interesting.
No, I never saw it with Zootropolis, but I'm assuming they had to have changed it, even though, and they do refer to it a lot because it's like the city that they're in. So
yeah, that's what I'm wondering about. I mean, I would think that maybe they would, but that's kind of interesting. I loved Zootopia.
It was so good, yeah.
Oh, thank you for the sub.
They changed the dialogue to be Zootropolis 2. It was wild when I found this out when I wanted to watch it on one of my study breaks. That's really cool. I mean, like it's stuff like that, like when they actually change it intentionally. I feel like that's interesting.
Someone asked if you prefer the British or American version of The Office.
Oh, okay. So this is where everyone hates me. I could not stand that show because it was so awkward, and my anxiety is so bad. I couldn't watch Michael Scott. I just couldn't. I was like, oh my god, I'm having an aneurysm. Like, I stopped watching. I literally could not. I was like, the only thing I got out of that show was the Jim and Dwight dynamic that I thought was hilarious.
So the answer is neither.
Neither.
How did you get into
I can't watch it. I definitely stopped watching before Michael left the show, which was the final season. I think
that
it was like
season 7 or 8.
it was. I didn't watch like full on seasons either. It was kind of like I would just catch the show whenever it was on. Yeah, I remember like Jim and Pam were a thing or whatever, but for me personally, it was just so awkward. I couldn't watch it and enjoy it. I was like, I can't. Like that one with the like kids that he promised he would pay for.
Oh, the Scott
Scott's
God. That is an episode I can't watch. I
literally can't watch it. I was like,
oh my god, that's one of the worst
Again,
episodes
you
ever.
make the dreams come
yeah,
true.
I couldn't. I was like, so I didn't actually watch that show that much. I actually didn't get into shows really until Netflix was big. And they started releasing all of their like new shows like Stranger Things and Umbrella Academy and stuff like that. Because I really was not a TV show watcher. I was more of a movie person. Like I'd seen Friends and like maybe a few cartoons like Teen Titans and stuff. Like, and then I just didn't watch shows for a very long time. So I kind of just switched over to Twitch. I was watching a lot of Twitch stuff and like YouTube content. So I knew a lot of like old school YouTubers. Yeah. So I know of like the old school YouTubers and all that stuff because I didn't really like the stuff that was on television at the time. So
Did you
I
ever
feel
watch
bad.
Did you ever watch Parks and Recreation?
I knew it was similar, so I was like, I don't want to. I never saw Community either. And I never saw 30 Rock. Like my whole family watched all of these. I missed out on all of them. I think there were a few that I wish I had watched that I could probably still jump into. But I feel like I missed out on a lot of inside jokes because I haven't watched them. So I'm always
Community
like,
isn't like isn't like awkward. Its humor is sort of I don't know, more like memey and like referential. So you might have an easier time with that. I've only seen 2 episodes of The Office, so I can't speak to that. Morgan showed me Parks and Rec, which is like her favorite show.
So I can
and
say
I
actually
adored for all seasons.
I've watched all the episodes of The Office except for like maybe the first season. Now that I think about it, 'cause, my brother is like he's probably the biggest Office fan that there is. He watches it all the time, and so he was on like the later part of season 2, I think, and so like I just started watching from like I might have been the first season. We actually have like I don't know if it's on CBS Access, but like but thanks though Ice, because we actually have it on like one of our streaming services because we have a million of them. But I did watch almost all of The Office, and I've watched all of Parks and Recreation. Like, okay, like I'm gonna be embarrassed by saying this, but like I've probably watched the show all the way through probably 10 times, and then that's also not counting how many times I've just picked an episode and watched from there. It's my favorite show. I would say like if you ever want to get into Parks, it's a really good show. It's different from The Office, even though it's from the same creator. The first 2 seasons, especially the first season, very much was trying to be like The Office because they were kind of anticipating it to be like a sequel to The Office. And then when it got to it was actually not doing well, and then it got to season 3 and it really took off. It really became its own thing. So if you ever want to watch it, and I hate having to say this, like you have to tough through things. You really got to tough through season 1 and 2. Season 3 and then going on from there is when it gets really good. But if you ever want to watch it, let me know because I love that show. It's my favorite. Leslie Knope is like an inspiration to me.
Oh, yeah.
Plus,
well,
I love.
Oh no, you go.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I love Amy Poehler. That's it.
Oh, they're so great. So my dad actually kind of like worked on his own like the town's park and rec community, like whatever. It wasn't called that in our town, but it's basically Parks and Rec IRL, and that was enough for me because he had stories like almost every day. We were like, it was absolutely bonkers the stories he would come back with, and I was like, I don't even need to watch that show. I have it at home. My dad just comes home and tells us all about what they want to do with the budget or whatever, and they'll like come up with these crazy things, and it was always so funny. So I was like, I wonder if this show is like anything like this because this is like nuts, and I just
really
never
fun.
watched it. But my family actually started watching it because of he was doing that, and they were like really into it because of that, and I missed out on that. But because at that time I think I was in school, so I wasn't home to like watch it with them, if that makes sense. But No, yeah, like he actually worked on like the equivalent of the Parks and Rec committee like in our town, and it was really funny for a while. I think
That's,
it
oh my
drove him
God.
insane.
I love
Yeah.
that. Rent a
It was funny.
swag.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely one of my favorite shows. For me, it's one of those shows that like I'd be having a hard time that day, and I would just turn on a random episode, and it would just make me smile somewhat. It's most of it's a really nice, wholesome show. So like that's
Yeah.
one of the things that I really liked about it. Not a lot different from The Office. Like I like The Office, but like there were just times where like what you said with Michael Scott, that like he would do something so nice. Like there was an episode with Pam who like she like had tried to go to art school, and she kind of ended up didn't really work out for her, and she tried doing a little art show. She tried doing a little art show. Nobody came except for one of her coworkers and his partner, and all they did was just really meanly critique her artwork, and they didn't know that she was standing there, and she was just kind of sitting there like, because she invited everybody and nobody came, and Michael came, and she had done a little painting of their office, like the outside office, like the building. And he was like, oh man, this is amazing. I love the colors, and I love how it all looks. And he goes, how much for it? And she goes, what? And he's like, how much? I don't see a price. How much do you want for this painting? I want to hang it up in the office. And he's like, I'm so proud of you. And it's one of those moments where you're like, oh, Michael's not so bad. And then you get to Scott's Tots, and then you realize, wow, actually Michael's the worst.
Yeah, it's very heads or tails.
Very much. Oh my God. Office is okay. I definitely really like Parks. If you want something different also, that's also a Michael Schur show. If you've never watched The Good Place, I haven't finished it, but The Good Place is pretty good.
Oh yeah, that's quite
I've
good
seen
so
it.
far. Yeah.
I enjoyed it. It's so weird because like the first few seasons are on Netflix, but then the last one's on Hulu, and you're just sitting there like, why? So I had to kind of grab a Hulu sub from a friend, and I totally bought it myself. What do you mean? And yeah, I was able to watch the rest of that show, but it took me a while because I was like, my friends were like, are you trying to mooch off me? I was like, dude, I just want to watch the rest of the season. Like, I just want to watch this one season. I need to finish it because it's the final season. And I was going nuts because I just like, I just need to know. I don't want to torrent this because like last time I tried to torrent something, I got like slapped with a big cease and desist. And I was like, dude, I'm sorry. I just want to watch this.
Yeah,
Not
sorry.
in like 320, 360, whatever it is, like PHP, whatever. Like I was like, damn, I just want to watch this and not the shittiest quality ever. And so now I'm too scared to do that. So I'm just like, okay, I just want to use your Hulu account, thanks. So but yeah, they have it split up. It's so weird. No, it definitely took me more than a day to binge that. Those were long episodes, I believe. Weren't they like the 40-minute ones, or were they 20-minute ones?
I haven't gotten to the
remember.
very last one, so I'm not sure yet.
I don't remember. But no, yeah, like those, that one took a bit longer for me to finish because it's on 2 different sites, and you're like, why? Like, who made these contracts, and why are they like this? Like, what happened here? Like, was the last season not out, and then Hulu's like, yeah, fuck you, Netflix, we're taking that one. Like, what? Like, how does this happen? How did Netflix not secure that?
They pulled an Epic Game Store, and we're like, all right, we're securing this one, and only this one. Like,
I was like, how much did they buy them out for that? I just don't understand. So I'm like, okay, I guess I need Hulu now. Great. So, yeah. But
so
yeah, it's a good show.
As we're winding things down now, if you have any
accumulated some questions here.
Oh yeah, we have accumulated some audience questions here, and if you have any last minute questions for Pearl,
go ahead and ask them now.
Type them really quickly right now.
So I don't know if Cool Guy's still here, but he wanted to ask you: is the Triforce or the almost Triforce masterpiece on the wall programmable? Which I assume it is.
Via phone.
That's cool. I've always wondered about that. I don't think I've ever asked you about it.
Yeah, so I just remember I saw them in one of my friends' streams, asked them about it, and they had Nanoleaf lights, and I found another alternative like on Amazon, so mine are a bit different than like the Nanoleaf ones that they're selling, because they had like different series or whatever, and I got these ones as a Christmas present, and I just really like them. But yeah, you download a little app to your phone and you can kind of have it do whatever. It was very chaotic. I ended up finding just this pattern that was like just kind of flow through like rainbow colors. I was like, you know what, we're gonna stick with that, because the rest of these like are gonna give one of my mods a seizure because he has epilepsy. They were very flashy like other alternatives, and I was like, I can't have those. So I went with a very nice flow. It was like a rave. No, yeah, like all of their options, it was like I'm having a rave in my room. I was like, I'm just trying to chill, man, we're vibing here. So I found this like it just doing this little pattern. I was like, so yeah, no, yeah. So you do program it on your phone. You download the app for it, and you just kind of do it from there.
Okay, and then Zenbo asks, has she played The World Ends With You? I'm assuming that's a game.
Oh, it's
Okay.
a Square Enix game.
Oh, okay.
I actually have been asked many times to play it. I have yet to play it.
I haven't played it either.
It's a good. I've heard good things. I've heard that it's a bit different though. Like I've watched a few YouTube videos on it. Does look a bit different. But I heard that the story was really good. So I've heard good things, and I do have one of my viewers is always going to bat for that one and wants me to play it. So that might happen at some point.
Which so you certainly could.
Yeah.
Okay, and then Ghost wants to know, would you rather own an elephant the size of a gerbil or a gerbil the size of an elephant?
Definitely elephant size of a gerbil. That'd be so cute to hold. I like look at my baby elephant. Like that'd be great.
That would be amazing, actually.
That'd be kind of like
That'd be so cute.
I don't know if you guys ever saw Spy Kids, but like I think it was the second one where they had like
The second one.
yeah, the one where the things that were small were like large on the island, and the things that were large were small.
What about like a gerbil-sized woolly mammoth? That'd be amazing.
That would be. I mean,
That'd be
I feel
cute.
like- I think anything small is like cute for the most part. I mean, like obviously that doesn't apply to everything, but I was just like, yeah, I could see a little like woolly mammoth or elephant being super cute. I don't know. I think it'd be cute.
Okay, now I don't know if this one's a troll one or not because it comes from Draz, but the only thing they asked was Among Us ?
I don't know if he's
Oh,
asking
it's a
to
game.
play
I don't know if
or
that's
wants-
like asking
It's a
if
game,
you're
yeah.
gonna play
That's a
it
game.
or like something.
I don't know why it's
talking
being
about
phrased
or
in interrogative, but
He's either asking me to play right now afterwards, or he maybe wanted to know why I wasn't streaming it. And the biggest thing is I guess I just haven't gotten like I feel it's kind of hard because like my community in particular, I don't know if they're super into that game. I have a lot of other friends in other communities that like have all bought the game, because I don't normally do community games when they have to buy it, if that makes sense. So unless like I know an overwhelming amount of people have that game, I don't tend to stream games that you have to buy. Just because I'm like, if there's a paywall, I find it even if it's only $5, which it is right now, and it's really fun, just so you know. Even if there's a paywall, I tend not to stream those games. I normally just play them offline. I can't tell if he's asking to play after or not though.
yeah, I
So-
don't remember the context of.
I mean,
what
I
he
snap
redeemed.
his neck in that game like every 2 games I get imposter, so I don't know why he'd want to.
Oh, is that what that is? Like somebody is like some because you said imposter. Is it supposed to be something like somebody is like there's a group of people and one person is like a bad person or something? You have to figure out which one it is. And, like, you
so
might
it's
get killed
basically
by them?
Mafia. Yeah, have you guys ever like played Mafia or just
Like-
any
yeah.
rendition? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
basically Mafia, but there's the max is 10 players. You can put it to 2 imposters. You can change a lot of the things like discussion time. You can change vision for like imposters and for crew members. And basically, you if you're a crew member, you go around and do different tasks, and you try to figure out who the imposters are. And the imposters, you have to go around and try to kill everyone before they figure out it's you. It's heavily favored for crewmates right now. It's very hard to win as imposters, I feel, if the crewmates actually know how to play. That's just my personal. I think it should actually expand it to 15 people. I think it's way too easy, and there's too many confirmable tasks that you can do to confirm that you're a crewmate, which I think you can also alter in the settings, but it's also just like a lot. It's a fun game though. I've definitely has spawned some arguments as well, because when you're accusing someone, obviously like they're gonna argue back whether or not you're right, because they're gonna try to stay in the game, especially if you're imposter, because if one goes out, there's only one left, and it can be very hard to win after that. So they'll go hard for you to try to stay. But no, yeah. So basically, it's a fun game. It's just a small. It's like I don't know. It can be frustrating at times, but it's also very fun. So it depends if you like Mafia or not. I know, like, I have a few viewers that hate that game, so it just depends if you like games like that. Yeah, it's like Town of Salem. Yeah, if you've ever played Town of Salem, it's a little like that too. Much more hands-on though, because you actually move your character around. Town of Salem, you just kind of talk and do tasks or whatever. What are we I don't know. I wanted to play Fall Guys tonight. Sorry.
Oh, I'm loving Fall Guys.
That's a great game.
I barely played
Fall
it.
Guys is great.
I played like
I've also
6
barely
games.
played it. I played for the first time the other night with Morgan, and I had a great time. That was super
This is a
impressive.
trend I will not be jumping on.
I'm bad at it, and I still had fun. So that speaks very, very well to it, especially as like
You
a
could be
party player.
Tim the Fat Man and just like get memed
He
about
finally,
not having
he
to win.
finally won today.
He finally won.
today. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
He
I
was
got my
getting
first win the other
grief.
day.
He got grief so hard in all the games I watched him play, though. So I was like, I mean, I can understand why you haven't won at this point. Like, the
Yeah.
griefing is unbelievable. So I felt bad. But yeah, so anyway, that's the whole Among Us segment. It's just as popular as Fall, or sorry, not just as, but it's pretty popular right now among my friend groups. So I don't know if there are any more questions I could.
Yeah, well, I don't know. This one is it's Silly King Pizza, and they just asked why, and that was 17 minutes ago. I don't know, and
He's
in
fine, he's
correlation to what or
I wonder if they still want to know. They
He's just saying why. He's a funny one.
and then this one's from I Heard Cows, and they asked what if Zelda was a girl.
Yep, they're all just trolling. Keep going.
Yeah, all right.
they
Ganon
we get a
is
lot
the
of troll
princess.
questions.
My
Thank you
little
for
troll.
the troll questions, and that's not what I meant.
The,
when,
That's they're all mine. It's fine. I claim them, but I'll bop them later. It's fine.
You're like keeping a list of all the people who trolled us during the stream.
I
the
definitely
list is
go,
like, alright, people try to embarrass me.
Nah, it's okay. They're good sports.
Before we take off, first of all, thank you so much, Pearl, for being on the podcast. It was an absolute blast. Now, you may not know this, but you, by being on the podcast, entered into a legally binding agreement by which we can ask you to be on the podcast again.
And it doesn't matter. It can be
Cool.
20 years from now, and like
Only
I'm
if they get a sequel before Killjoy, just to make him mad. I'm just kidding. Don't
Okay,
kill
and
me.
now Black Phillip asked, do you ever feel like a plastic bag? Which
Is
I
it
know is a
Drifting in the
reference.
Wind?
Wanting
It's
to
the Katy
start
Perry
again.
song.
Yes.
Oh God, what's the next? Is it Drifting Through the Wind or In the Wind? Oh, I don't know anymore.
I think it's drifting through the wind.
Drifting through the wind.
Wanting
yeah.
to start again.
I got you, Philip.
Also, we are going to raid somebody, and so this is our raid call. So if you do a /me, streamers become raiders, and just do any emotes that you want, but like it makes for like a really cool color palette throughout the.
Yeah, make sure you
raid
slash
if everybody
me.
wants to do it.
And
So
drop
it's
a
slash?
drop an
Forward slash-
FBH emote if you have one. And if not, or a Pearl emote, or both. Drop whatever you want.
Yeah, well, we're not gonna
I'm
play
not
that
too
over
thoroughly
live.
invested in what emotes you use.
Just make sure you
Wait.
slash me because it looks cool.
/me.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Slash me.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let me try it. I'm gonna butcher this so bad. Am I a streamer? Maybe. Oh God, do I even have that emote? I don't even know if I have the stream emote. I don't know. Do I? Okay, cool.
Everyone, thank you so much for dropping by
It's an
and
honor.
asking questions and participating with us. It was an absolute joy to meet all of you. And we'll be back again next Wednesday at 9 Eastern with just the standard SBH crew going over whatever gaming news happens to transpire in between now.
Okay, I hit the thing for raid and I don't see it at the top.
I can see it.
I can see
I
it.
can see it.
I can
I
see it.
can't
I'm
see
looking at it
it,
right
so
now.
I don't know when we're ending.
Oh, it'll be soon. Yeah.
Yeah, it's working though.
There is no ending.
That's
Alright, so
interesting.
We're just gonna awkwardly.
Don't worry, we
sit
don't have
here
to have that
until
figured out till
something
episode
happens.
50. There's no expectations before episode 50.
Oh yeah, you guys are
Oh, you
making your
know,
way up there.
Crazy.
And you can say
Yeah,
that
we've been
you're
doing
part
this
of
for almost a
the
year now.
original 50.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, we've been having a really fun time on this. Like we've been doing this for. I don't think it's been a year yet, has it? Or is it almost been a year?
It's not quite been a year, but we are getting there.
It's almost
very
there.
soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're almost there.
That's awesome.
The radio's
Okay, I
gonna
think we're
happen midway
ready.
through
Hey!
this. All right,
Oh,
later.
good. Bye. Yeah, I was like, we're just gonna awkwardly sit here until it happens because I don't know what's
All
going
right.
on.
Okay, raid's gone through now. Okay, good.
So
It's gone through.
who,
Yay. Okay.
who we rated? That's Avery.